everyone, it's Amy and I am back with some more books. Shocker. I am going to be talking about a bunch of books today. I'm going to be talking about my TBR for the rest of the year, going into January, the winter months, my TBR to be read list, and I've got quite the pile here. It keeps going past the camera. So let's get into it. I am really excited to show you all of these books. I mostly read books through my library. There's a couple libraries we go to, or through the Libby app, which is also through the library. But there are a couple of books that my husband and I just had to buy. And first up is Bookshops and Bone Dust by Travis Baldree. This is the sequel to Legends and Lattes, and I absolutely loved that book, so I just had to get this one. And it's cozy vibes, and I think this is going to be really good for winter. Next up is Murtagh. We have been so excited about this book. This is the continuation of the Inheritance Cycle, or the Aragon series, by none other than Christopher Paolini. And we've already put a little bit of a dent in this book. Zach and I have been reading it together aloud. And I love how it's got some of the other books in this series. There is a new Aragon that is illustrated, and then a little novella, The Fork, the Witch, and the Worm. So there's more in this world, and I heard that there's more coming out. I love this cover, and even the inside pages. It's almost lava looking, and then look at this cover. It's the Brissinger symbol. It's the new symbol for what they're calling the world of Aragon, and just the beautiful gold. It's gorgeous. I love the maroons and reds and golds. But this is a continuation with one of the characters, just getting more into his story. So yeah, we are really enjoying it so far, and can't wait to see where the story goes. So now I am getting into my library books, which I am looking at quite a big pile, like I said. So I'm just going to quickly go through these, and again, these are just ones that I want to read. So just disclaimer, if you read any of these before I have read them, I don't know everything that's in these books, so just a warning with that. But first up, we've got Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Ames. And I've been told that this is a D&D campaign kind of book. There's politics, there's battles, and just all this kind of stuff, and it just sounds like a really interesting book. This might be one that Zach and I would read, but I'm not sure if we're going to get to it because we've got a lot of books. But yeah, it's just one I've been interested in. Next, we have In the Lives of Puppets by T.J. Klune. And I read T.J. Klune's House on the Cerulean Sea, and I absolutely loved that book. That's more of a fantasy book. This is more of a sci-fi kind of book, but it has his sort of found family that he's known for, and it deals with robots and a human that are living together in secret, and they are sort of discovered, and they are trying to find a way to be safe again. So I'm curious about this book. I'm interested in this book. Just wanting to read more of T.J. Klune's writing because I really enjoyed it. Next up, we have Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. And of course, this is a well-known book. I wanted to get this because I've been wanting to read it for a while, and I know it would be really good for winter. That's more of the theme I'm trying to go with, is winter books that feel cold and snowy or Christmassy, holidays, or have a cozy vibe to them. So I know this is a classic, and I haven't even seen the movie adaptations. So I feel even though I know a bit of the story, I don't know a whole lot, so I feel like being able to finally like read the story for myself is going to be really interesting. Next up, we have a genre that I'm trying to get more into, trying to find books that I like in this genre, but we have Joanne Fluke's Christmas Caramel Murder, cozy mystery, and it is a really short book, so I'm hoping to kind of be able to just fly through this. But I really wanted to get into more cozy mysteries, and I just find myself preoccupied with all the fantasy and other books that I read. But I feel like this would be really good for the winter months. And how cute is that cover with the little treats on it? And Joanne Fluke is known for her cozy fantasy. There's so many different books, all kinds of books. And I wanted to pick up this Christmas theme one for obvious reasons. If you've read any of her books, if you do cozy mystery, let me know in the comments if you have any recommendations. Next up, I have 3 holiday Christmas sort of romance books. And first up is In a Holidays by Christina Lauren. And this is supposed to be like Christmas with like groundhog vibes, except it's a woman that is like reliving the same day over and over again. I really like the groundhog. I like anything Groundhog Day, anything that's like time travel and that sort of thing. But yeah, this woman's just like kind of stuck in her life, and then she gets to relive the same day over and over again. So it sounded really interesting. Next, I have One Day in December by Josie Silver. And I actually started listening to the audiobook of this, trying to get in as much books as I can, and I listen to it while I'm doing chores, also listening to A Court of Thorn and Roses when I film this. But this is like a British Christmas holiday kind of book, but it does keep like, it does span over a good amount of time. But it is about 2 people who see each other at like a bus stop, and it's like almost like a love at first sight kind of thing. And then one of them ends up driving away and missing the chance. And then they're reintroduced again like a year later, and they're introduced by the friend of the female character. She is dating the male character. So it's an awkward situation, and it's about navigating relationships and navigating the past and heartbreak. So far, I'm liking it okay. It's got some funny moments. It's definitely got some like cozy vibes to it, but there are some elements to it that I'm not a huge fan of. But again, I'm still working through the book, so I will let you know what I think about it. But yeah, that's One Day in December. Next, we have 8 Perfect Hours by Leah Lewis. And this is about a man and a woman who are trapped in their cars in a snowstorm. And they find each other and spend 8 perfect hours together. And when the snow clears, they go their separate ways, thinking they're never going to see each other again, but they keep running into each other, and the story goes from there. It sounded like a really cute read, and I'm really looking forward to it. Next, I'm going to be getting into some wintry holiday books that are all fantasy. I've got middle grade, I've got YA, and I've got kind of like new adult in between YA and adult fantasy, so let's get into it. First up, I've got Green Glass House by Kate Milford, and this is about a boy who lives in a really interesting house that has a lot of secrets, and how one night a bunch of characters show up that have secret lives attached to the house as well, and how he is having to unfold the mysteries behind these characters. And just look at this cover. It is so beautiful. It's just got wintry vibes to it, and it sounded like a really fun read. Again, this is middle grade, and I really enjoy middle grade books. I think it's a book that it's a genre that can span, you know, all ages. So I really wanted to get into this, and I wanted to find books that had sort of like ghost, Christmas carol kind of vibes to it, Christmas ghost stories, and this kind of gave me that vibe. So I'm really interested to read this one. Next, we have another middle grade book, A Boy Called Christmas by Matt Haig. And I know Matt Haig has written quite a few other books, middle grade and adult as well. But this one just looked really cute, and I didn't know that it was a movie on Netflix, but it's based on this book, and it is about a boy named Nicholas, nicknamed Christmas, who has to go on a journey to find his father in the North Pole, and how he comes across the magic of the North Pole. And I think you can imagine where the story might go from there. It just sounded really cute and sweet. It's a short read, and yeah, just wanted some more Christmas vibes. Now we're getting into some YA fantasy, and this is Winterwood by Shay Earnshaw. And this is very much like a folklore legend kind of book about walker women, as they are called, who are these mystical creatures who, it sounds like they grow up from the ground. Their bones are built of roots and thorns, and she sprouted up from the ground. It's about these mythical creatures, and it just sounds like a really interesting book. When it comes to Christmas, like, you know, we think of movies with heartfelt messages and things like that, but there's also like A Christmas Carol and, you know, ghost stories and folklore stories and things like that. And I just thought it sounded really interesting. And look at this cover. Like, these winter covers I'm absolutely loving because they're so beautiful. My Christmas decor is a bit more like stars and moons sort of themed, so it fits right in with that. But yeah, I just really wanted to get into some more folklore, and it sounded really interesting. Next up, we have Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson, and this is another wintry YA fantasy, and it is about a girl who lives in a library where all of the magical texts and spell books and things like that are kept and held because sorcery is evil, and she is there to help guard this magic knowledge. But one day the library is broken into and chaos ensues, and she is implicated in the crime of this stolen magic, and she's having to redeem herself and find a way to solve this mystery. A lot of people recommend this book on TikTok, and it just sounds really interesting. I love a female main character in fantasy books, and I love that it has like wintry vibes, magic, all the good things that we love. So definitely excited to read this one. Now we are near the end of the journey with all of these books that I'm going to try to read in the next couple of months during winter. And if you've made it this far with me, leave a snowflake emoji in the comments. Or just let me know, hey, I made it all the way through. But the last book I have to talk about is The Plastic Magician by Charlie N. Holmberg. And if you know anything about this series, the Paper Magician series, it is a really wonderful series, great magic, female main character. Our friends over at Bearded Book Club actually read through this series. We'll try to link them in the description. But this is a continuation of that series, and just really loved the magic, the romance, the conflict, adventure that happens in these books. So was just excited to be able to continue this series. So guys, that is all of my TBR for the next couple of months during winter. Let me know what you are wanting to read during the holidays and during the winter months. If you are someone like me who wants to feel like they're actually in the snow and cold and cozy, cozy, not in the snow. But um, um, let me know what you're wanting to read. Um, I just really like getting to feel like I'm getting to experience winter, because living here in Florida, we don't really get a ton of cold. So we've got it really cold in the house, and I'm wearing sweaters and things like that. So if I can get it through the books and through clothing and AC, I'm going to get it where I can. But I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Again, let me know what you are wanting to read during these winter months, and I will catch you guys soon. Bye.